If this is your first time going to Burning Man, you're probably overwhelmed with planning your first burn. Well, don't worry, because today we'll be teaching you everything first-time burners should know about Burning Man. Okay, so today we are driving to San Francisco's Pride Parade to be part of their actual parade. We're gonna be on the float. It's pretty exciting.
We're gonna be going through like some tips and advice all about Burning Man. It's kind of gonna be our ultimate guide to Burning Man.
Yeah, exactly. And in this part, we're gonna break it into 3 little parts. Okay, so it's gonna be about the prep, the culture, and the survival. Okay, because you need to survive. That is a whole part.
That's probably the most important part.
Yeah, exactly. And we're gonna also give you a tip list at the end, so be sure to check that out. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and like this video. What? All right, stay tuned. All right, so we're headed to downtown San Francisco right now because our friend Mondi and Afshan, they work for Twilio, and Twilio has a huge parade for the San Francisco Pride Parade this year. And we've never been, actually, I have never been to the actual parade. Have you?
No, I don't think so.
I've been to the parties around the parade. Right. I've been to that for sure. Okay, but I have never been actually to the parade, so this is exciting. And we're gonna be on a float. I've never been on a float before. Have you?
Have you? I know we haven't.
I'm really excited for this. So yeah, we're about to pick up my cousin Carolina and head on over. So stay tuned. All right, so we picked up Carolina. Check out her wig. Hello. Oh, hello.
My eyebrows look great.
Shut up.
Should I pin it?
Headed to Twilio now. Hey, how much? Wow. Okay, what you giving out for that? How much is that? $2?
$2,000 minimum.
Shut up. What you get?
This little heart. You're gonna put it on my face. No, I just
Oh, you just put that one on? Let's see the other side.
The reveal.
Oh my god, that looks so
Oh, that looks really good, actually, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yay!
Thank you, Sarah.
You like yours, Carolina?
I think I love it. That's why.
Okay, so we're here at Twilio doing the whole prep for SF Pride Parade. Whoa. Yeah.
We're
Anyway,
half there in a minute, but before we do,
let's do the prep for Burning Man. All right?
okay, so first up in preparation is obviously getting the ticket. You gotta be ready right when those tickets go on sale. Make sure you fill out the paperwork beforehand. Before you can even buy tickets, there's paperwork. So go online a few days.
Do that a couple days before that.
Yeah, and then be there right in the moment. And you should hopefully get tickets, but
yeah, it is
not.
so hard, and there's no resellers, okay? Nope. Because you have to buy it through the whole Burning Man portal thing. It's part of their whole community and everything else.
Right.
So we'll get into that later. But if you by chance don't get the tickets, there is another option. You could apply for low-income tickets, and it has to be first come, first serve, and they have to approve you.
You have to meet certain qualifications
Yes.
to be able to be approved for it.
And then you have to pick up your tickets on will call.
But it is an option.
But that is an option, which is kind of cool. I haven't heard of another festival doing low-income tickets, but I don't really know. But
Alright, so next is what you should bring to Burning Man, but this is an incredibly long list,
So we have a video dedicated just to all the things you should bring to Burning Man. So check that out. Okay, so next is the best time to arrive at Burning Man and the best time to leave. Now, when it comes to arriving there, if you're part of one of the big camps, you have to get there in advance, right? There's really no avoiding the amount of wait time to get into the festival. Okay, there's no way, you just can't avoid it. It's hours of traffic to get in. Now, if you are not part of a camp and you're doing your own thing, then I would suggest coming a few days later and arriving at like 4 a.m. Then you don't have to wait. And when you leave, unfortunately, there is, again, hours worth of traffic to get out. And unless you're leaving early, I don't think you're gonna avoid it at all. We waited in so much traffic.
So we're trying to leave Burning Man, and this is what we have to wait in. We've been stuck here an hour so far, and yeah, so we're all just getting out of our cars, drinking, chilling on top of the roof, and pretty crazy. But this is Burning Man.
Now we did have fun though, because we hung out with a bunch of random people in the streets, and then we were just chit-chatting, so the time went by pretty fast. But again, can't avoid it. Sorry.
All right, so we are back from SF Pride Parade. And that was an incredible experience, but we want to talk about Burning Man's incredible experience. And that's why the next section is about the culture. So for the first part of this, we're going to talk about the history of Burning Man and what it all means and everything like that, because it's super important to really understand that part, to understand the rules of Burning Man and the whole culture behind it. So Burning Man actually originally started because the founder had broke up with his girlfriend because she left him for another guy, and he was really upset about it. And he went to the beach to, you know, feel better. And in the end, he found all this driftwood and made a effigy of a man, and then he burnt it to like feel cathartic about it. But then it started growing like a little community around it. People started coming by the fire, and like it created this community. They were like, let's do it next year. And then they did it next year and the year after that, and it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was that, and then so big that they had to move to Black Rock City. But it was that culture that they wanted to keep through that. And then what's so cool about when they moved to Black Rock City, it's at this old lake bed. So there used to be a lake there, but it's not there anymore. And it's nothingness, this desert. And then all of a sudden it's kind of like this like instant city. All right. So the biggest part of Burning Man is the art. So basically the entire city surrounds this area that's called the Playa. And that's where they have the Burning Man in the middle of it. And then they have all of this art that's actually commissioned by a lot of the camps that go to Burning Man, and they have a lot of that art for people to enjoy out on the playa. And some of that art is interactive, or some of it you can climb and stuff like that, or some of it's just not. One of them actually is this really cool structure that they have everybody go to remember their dead. So you put people that had died recently or whatever type of a remembrance thing, and then at the end of it, at the end of Burning Man, even after the time that they burn the man, they actually burn that entire building. And it's kind of beautiful, you know, in the sense, it's like therapeutic. But then anyway, so the rest of the art is really cool too, because sometimes they get these like famous artists. Like last year, the theme was the future. And so they got this architecture firm, Bjarke Ingels Group, to commission a huge sphere, and that was really cool. And then they have a bunch of stuff that's similar to that. And then they have a bunch of big name artists that go there, and they play secret DJ sets or secret little parties, and you have to be in the know to know about them.
Okay, so Burning Man is all about sharing.
every camp basically has something that they get to share with everybody else. So if you're gonna be part of a camp, it's mandatory that you share. Everything is free there. So like if you want alcohol, if you want like whatever you want there, food, you wanna play games, things like that, you have to go to a certain camp and they have that for you. So it's really fun and it's really amazing. But again, it's all about that whole sharing vibe and caring about everybody else and giving them things. It's a back and forth. So it's really, really important that you understand that. Okay, so one of the most important things at Burning Man is MOOP, and that stands for matter out of place. It essentially means there can be no trace that anybody was ever there. So every single little piece you have to pick up and take with you. You will get in huge trouble by the MOOP police if you don't. And I'm serious about that. Sounds funny, but it's true. You will get in serious trouble and fined, so you need to pick up everything. Nobody can know anybody was ever there. Important. One thing to also note is that glitter, rhinestones, any kind of thing like that, do not take with you. Don't bother, okay? Because you can't even have one little flick of glitter on the ground, okay? So you didn't see anything.
Okay, so listen up. This is actually really, really important. You cannot just take pictures of everybody there, okay? People get really upset about this because Burning Man is all about free expression. So a lot of times people are dressed in different ways than they would necessarily represent themselves in regular life, okay? And they don't want that showing up on the internet later, okay? So typically there's like a whole courtesy thing where you always ask somebody, is it okay that I can take a picture with you or of you or around you? You do not want to get all these other people in the background doing other stuff. You really want to just do it of you and the art or whatever, but you have to be really aware of that because having that common courtesy is just part of this whole community.
Okay, so Burning Man ends on Labor Day, which is Monday. So most people think, oh, the man's gonna burn on Sunday, right? No, you're incorrect. It actually burns the day before, Saturday. So make sure that you're available and you're like, oh yeah, we gotta get there Saturday night because that's actually when it is, not Sunday night, which a lot of people think. So be there on Saturday.
Okay, so this next part is actually one of the most important parts of Burning Man.
Yes.
Survival, okay? Honestly, it's out there in the desert on the bottom of a lake bed, so it has all this alkaline dust, which is actually more corrosive to a lot of your stuff. So like, you have to know how to survive, okay? And we're gonna give you some tips to do that, so stay tuned. Okay, so one of the biggest things is it's gonna get hot. Like in case you were confused, this is the desert, all right? It's gonna get hot. Gonna get hot.
So you have to be prepared for that. And one of the things is, especially if you're gonna go out during the day, right, on your bike, you wanna have a beautiful little nice umbrella. Yes, so that umbrella is gonna be a lifesaver in the daytime because you can latch it onto your bike, or if you have a water backpack, you can latch it onto there, which is what I did. And it really protects you from the sun. I mean, even with it, it's still ridiculous. But it does help.
It does. And another thing that we did, okay, yes, you can have an RV with air conditioning, but that uses up a lot of energy. So we saw a lot of people, they didn't do that a lot during the day. And
especially if you're tent camping too.
Yeah. And if you're tent camping, oh my gosh. So this is what we did. We actually got this tent that protected us better from the heat from other tents. It's called Shift Pod.
There we go.
And actually it was created by a guy at Burning Man because he wanted to have a more insulated pop-up type of tent.
Right.
And anyway, so we got it for that. But we also took a tarp and then created this whole like evaporative cooling thing for all my Archie nerds out there. Basically, we got a baby pool. We put 5 gallons of water in it, and it came
15.
up 15. Yeah, 15 gallons of water in it, and it came up to like this much. And then we had the tarp over it, so it just kept us really cool during the day, which was amazing.
It was awesome.
It was so great. I almost didn't even want to leave that area because it was so hot. I mean, during the day, you really need to think about what you're gonna do.
We were looking out there like, wow, it looks hot out there, but it's nice and cool in
Nice
here.
and cool and relaxing. But if you do this, make sure that you do not wash yourself with soap or anything like that in the pool, because that creates MOOP. And
gray water, basically.
Gray water, right? You want to just have whatever dust. Sometimes we just go in there just to wipe off the dust and stuff. But in general, like, you don't want to put soap and stuff like that, or else you cannot dispose of that water later on.
Okay, no MOOP.
Okay, so this next part is probably one of the most important parts, okay? You absolutely cannot go to Burning Man without a bike. Super important. Like, this is a huge city, okay?
Yeah.
And all of the art is in the playa area, which is in the center, and you have to go from wherever your campsite is over to the art.
And sometimes, like, we would spend just 20 minutes getting to one destination, but that's not even the whole extent of the place. That's just like, oh, we're here and we need to go over here, and it took us like 20 minutes on a bike.
Yeah.
You can't walk.
Imagine walking, okay? Imagine walking just in the desert, just like a zombie. It's insane.
But like,
but just why? Anyway, here's the thing. So we didn't just buy new bikes, okay? Because that alkaline dust from the lake bed that's there is just gonna corrode your new bike anyway. So we just bought a bike off Craigslist, and then we just took it there. We decorated it. Everybody decorates their bike because you want
with lights.
Yeah, with lights and other stuff. Well, with the lights, it's pretty cool because at night, it's really like a night festival, and you can see each other, not run into each other, but also it keeps your bike differentiated. So then when your bike is next to a bunch of other bikes, you know exactly which one yours is.
Oh, and bring a lock too.
Yeah.
Lock up your bike because sometimes people take them.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, pick up a bike and go.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to lose your bike, okay?
Right.
There is another tip here, because Burning Man does provide some bikes, but they are hard to get.
Right.
And another thing, though, like, you do not want to leave your bike there after Burning Man. That is not okay, okay?
Take it all with you.
Take
Whatever
everything you have with you.
Everything. If you came with it, you leave with it.
Okay, so another huge problem that happens at Burning Man, and something that you really, really, really need to prepare for, are dust storms, okay?
Right.
Like, everybody knows, going out in the desert, this is a problem for Burning Man. It's actually one of the things that, like, you really need to survive against. Like, this is survival mode here.
Right. The dust storms get so crazy out there. I mean, they can get up to like 60 miles per hour. So here's the thing. Your camp, you need to make sure that you really nail down that campsite, okay? Everything you have. If you have a canopy over your tent, you need to make sure you get those big stakes, the long ones, not the little short ones, the long ones for the tent and the canopy, anything else you have out there. And if you know it's coming, put any like smaller items inside somewhere, because it's gone. Like, don't even think you're gonna see that the next day, because you're not.
And you want to have goggles and a dust mask, okay? Seriously, the dust around there, it can get in everything. And like I said, it's corrosive. So do you want that in your lungs? No.
Bring lotion. A lot of people suggest the glove thing, like you put at night, like putting the gloves on with the lotion, vinegar for your feet, things like that. So
here's something we did see, which I don't understand people at all, okay, is that we saw a ton of people taking off their shoes and walking barefoot there. This is not hippie town, dude. Like, I get it, you want to walk around, that's cool and all, whatever. If we were at Electric Forest, that's what we might do. But here's the thing, all right, this dirt, this alkaline dust can cause this thing called playa foot, which basically cracks up your entire foot, and it's gross, dude. It's rough, and like, I just look at people, I'm like, dude, like, no, I don't want a dry ass foot later.
Tennis shoes the whole way, socks the whole time.
Yup. All right, so you might be wondering, what about the toilet situation there? Because that is a huge thing at festivals, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, that thing is baking in the sun all day. Like, what's going on with that? And you have to be there for 7 days? Like, what happens? Well, don't worry. Actually, those were the cleanest porta potties we've ever seen at any festival. They literally clean it 3 times a day. Yeah. Those people are on top of it.
They are on top of it. We were really surprised by that fact, and very happy.
Very happy.
Because any other festival we've been to, ooh my gosh, by the last day, I would rather go in a bush. But no, so that's not something you have to worry about. Although I would suggest bringing toilet paper, 1 ply only.
That's mandatory.
Just in case, you know, if it runs out, you have your own. And RVs, you can only use 1 ply. But if you have a makeshift one, which we actually did that, we used theirs, but we also had our own makeshift
private toilet.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, we had one ply anyway, so that's what we used, but you can technically use anything you want for your own, because you gotta take it with you when you're done. You can't leave it.
Yeah. And then sometimes in camps, they have their own private toilets as well.
Yeah, they do.
And they might have their own rules for that, so you want to check with them.
Right.
Oh my gosh, so this one thing that I did know about, like, Burning Man, when we got there, they have different toilets that are decorated.
Oh, yeah.
So there's this one that's decorated, like, with a prince. Like, and it was kind of cool. Like, you go in there and you're like, dude. And, like, they
The Mac Daddy one, too, is a big one.
Yeah, and then you keep that toilet, like, really pristine because people have decorated, you don't, like, there's not stuff, like, you know, you've seen porta potties.
Right.
You don't need to explain
You don't need to explain
what
what goes
happens
on
in there, but this one is really clean.
Right.
And in general, they clean them 3 times a day, so very, very clean.
Yeah, enjoy your porta potties at Burning Man.
All right, you guys, so to recap, we have gone over everything you need to prepare, to the culture, and how to survive Burning Man. Okay?
Right. Yes.
So I hope you love those tips, but we actually have a ton of other tips, so we hope you check out the other videos that we made in our Burning Man series. So we're gonna link those down below, and be sure to check out our free packing checklist for what to bring to Burning Man. We have that in the What to Bring to Burning Man video, so check that out. Links below.
Yep.
What?
Yes, and if you have any more questions or you have your own tips about Burning Man, be sure to leave that in the comments below. Until next time, Turkey Crew, we out.
That pops up out of nowhere with streets. Really? Really? Okay, anyway. It's kind of like this instant city that pops up with all these streets and not really real streets, but just, you know what I mean? And then grid and everything and all these, I don't know, I don't want to say all that. Let's pause.
I think
But there's tons of other tips that we did create, like, look, no. Okay. Oh. Heather and I very clearly getting ready